Hi guys, it's Terrie-May from Nightingale Music. Today I am going to do a Hollywood glam look. I'm going to start off with the hair. So if I just take this down, it's a bit messy because I had an 80s gig last night, so it's still sort of crimped. And I didn't wash it deliberately. You can absolutely wash your hair. What I would suggest is towel dry it, stick some mousse in it. I use Paul Mitchell mousse, and that will give it a little bit of texture to hold the curl. If your hair's really, really clean. If it's not really, really clean, like mine right now, I wouldn't worry about putting mousse in it. But what you might want to do is just grab a bit of the old Batiste and just get rid of any gross bits. So dirty hair does curl better. I'm quite lucky. As you can see, my hair is quite thick and it's naturally straight, but as I said, it was crimped last night. But my hair is thick, so it does hold a curl quite well. If you've got fine hair, you might have to play around because I'm not a professional hairstylist and I only know how to do my hair, except for French plaits. I can do French plaits on other people. So just working this in. One of the upsides of dry shampoo, other than cleaning your hair and getting rid of any grease, is that it also just adds a little bit of volume to the roots. So time to brush my hair. Wish me luck with this. So here's your little comb. What you get is you use the tail to create straight-ish lines to separate the hair. So we're going to start at the bottom and do layers all the way up until we hit the crown. But I will show you that. Okay, so this bit gets bunged up the top. Okay, give this a quick brush through. Oh, I haven't turned my blooming tongs on. So these are 1-inch tongs, and you will see this particular model has a temperature gauge. I always keep it on that particular button, the one that it starts with, which is 170. If you use the 210, you're at risk of really, really burning your hair, and you can smell it. It doesn't smell good. But like I said, I'm quite lucky having thick hair. I can take the temperature down a little bit. But again, just have a play. So heat protection spray is super important. I tend to use this one, which is just, it's Schwarzkopf. It's pretty bog standard. I bought it in Savers for £2, I think. However, if your hair doesn't curl very well, you can get heat protection spray that has like a holding element in it. So it's like part heat protection spray, part hairspray. And this one is fabulous. I actually don't use it very much anymore because it holds my hair a little too well and it won't brush out properly. But if you have hair that struggles to hold a curl, it might be worth getting a thermal spray that has got a little bit of hold in it. So for each of the layers, I'm just going to give it a quick spritz, brush it out. Okay, so I tend to split my hair in half at the back and then do 3 of the smaller sections. So comb it through. My tongs are ready. Okay, and here we go. So I put it around like this, but try not to twist the hair as you're going. Try and keep it as flat as possible, because otherwise you might end up with a load of ringlets. Now you can see I've got a little tiny bit tucked in that just needs to go in there. You see how that's gone? So the whole of the hair is being curled, and then we just sit like this for a minute. No tea left. Okay, so that should be nice and warm, borderline hot on the outside. So we will uncurl. So if you haven't got the tongue bit all the way at the top, just uncurl until the top part of the tongue is free, and then just very gently let it go, and it should end up in a ringlet like that. What we're going to do now, if it hasn't curled or it's got a kink in it or something, just do it again. So I've got little clips here that you can buy online for a couple of quid, or pop to Boots or Sally's or wherever. So you curl the hair back on yourself, and you create like a little ring, and then just pop that there and leave it until it's stone cold, like Steve Austin, except prettier. Okay, so as you can see, I've got 3 rows. If you look at the back, so they've all been sprayed, and as I said, everything is going under until we hit the crown. Oh, I look like Cousin It. This little section here gets rolled forwards. So once this last section is done, it's just a case of pinning it, making sure that everything's out of my face. Quick spritz of the Light Hold hairspray, and then we will crack on with the face, which I can't wait for because I'm sick of looking at my face in this blooming video. All right, nearly there. Oh, I think it's time for a cup of tea, isn't it? Okay, makeup. I'm not going to go through brands because I use a mixture of supermarket, high street, and department store brands. It's experimenting. I mean, it's meant to be fun, isn't it? So I'm just going to bung a bit of primer on first. So for those of you that are new to makeup, primer basically just smooths out the surface. So A, foundation is easier to go on. B, if you're not using foundation, it just gives you a teeny bit of coverage. Imagine like just a little bit of a Vaseline screen on the camera, you know, old fashioned. And also it means that you use a bit less foundation if you do use any. Well, it's called primer. It's like paint. If you prime a wall, then the paint looks better. Okay, so when I'm very tired or just don't trust myself to sort my wings out properly, this is a trick you can use. And I'm bringing in Sally the sellotape. Here we go. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a little bit of sellotape, and I'm going to put it at an angle where I think my eyeliner would look great. So do you see that there? So you've got the line just going up here. I look ridiculous, I know, don't worry. there are loads of different ways of doing this. You can use spoons, you can use Kirby grips, you can use stencils. I should maybe do, well, you can do freeform as well, of course. You've got liquid liners. I use a liquid liner. You've got gel liners, you've got pencil liners. Again, experiment and figure out what works for you. So as you can see, they are fairly even. It's never going to be absolutely perfect. Everyone has slightly wonky eyes. I sure as hell do. So it's just to put a little bit of powder on, just on the lash line to help the liner stick. Powder just gives the liner something to cling on to. And then, yeah, so as I said, this one is liquid liner, and it comes in the form of a little tiny pen. Can you see that? So let's give this one a go. Okay, so I've got a basic shape going on there, as you can see. What I would say is everyone's got a stronger side and a weaker side for everything. Do your weaker side first. Whichever side you're more comfortable doing, it's much easier to match your comfortable side to your uncomfortable side than the other way around. If you paint your nails, same thing. So if you're right-handed, paint your right hand first with your left hand, because you'll find it a little bit easier. Okay, so I'm going to leave the sellotape there for now. So you can see I've got the basic flicks sorted. They're still not 100% accurate, but I'll sort those out in a minute. Right, so let's sort out the eyebrows. Now, question, if anyone has the perfect eyebrow pencil for a redhead, please let me know, because I have never to this day found one. The Auburn ones always end up bright orange on me, because as you can see, my eyebrows are sort of strawberry blonde. They're lighter than my actual hair, so finding the exact match has never happened for me. So please let me know. So for a classic glam look, we're just accentuating what we've got. So if you look at people like Audrey Hepburn, Marilyn Monroe, who else would be a good one? Sophia Loren. They've all got different shaped eyebrows, but they're just accentuating what they've already got. Okay, so as you can see, they look pretty similar, but for example, this one is always slightly higher arched. I prefer this one just because I think it's got a nicer shape, but okay. So moving on to eyeshadow, I'm just going to give my eyes a quick dusting. So this is my base colour, so it's a sort of pinky beige colour, fairly similar to my own skin tone. This is going to be the highlight, so this is white, and that's going to be going on the inside corners of my eyes and just below my brow, on my brow bone. And then the filler colour is going to be this medium brown. It just goes all the way over. This one's matte. We don't want anything too sparkly. One thing I've noticed with a lot of the makeup videos on here with professionals, which I'm not a professional makeup artist, I'm just showing you what I do. There seems to be a lot of disagreement as to whether you do your eyes first or your base first. What I would say is if you're using eyeliner, especially if you're not used to it and you're not ready to draw it freehand, get your eyes done first, because then even if you have messed something up with your eyeliner, it's much easier to clean up if you don't have to redo all your foundation and powder and concealer underneath your eyes. This is slightly angled, as you can see. It's got a rounded top as opposed to a flat top, and I have really quite hooded eyes, so I draw my crease just above the fold of my eyelid. Right, let's just I'm just going to blend that in. If you're not sure whether you've blended enough, keep blending. So, who's reached the age where they have to trim their eyebrow hair? Oh, I don't know what it is about getting older, but I wish it wasn't. I've been getting older is bad enough, you know, I've still got pimples and stuff. Do I have to get so hairy? Goodness me. Bloody nightmare. I've got so many witch hairs growing out of my chin. I can't even get dermaplaned at the moment. I go to a lovely lady called Beth in Paynton, and she whips out her scalpel and shaves her face once a month, and it's lovely. Right, so let me just take this one off here. So you should see it's quite a defined line. Hey, there we go. So what we do now is leave the eyes alone for a minute and let's get the base on. The way I do it is I just blodge everything on. Technical term, blodge. But there is something about the, you know, the classic Hollywood look. You know, Grace Kelly, Veronica Lake, Audrey. This is slightly more veering on the Marilyn side with the eyeliner and everything. But just, you know, that real classic beauty. Obviously, I don't have Grace Kelly's face to work with. But hopefully you'll be able to see that even someone distinctly average looking can make themselves look quite proper and lovely. When you are putting powder on, because it's a glam matte look that we're going for, it is good just to get the T-zone in. If you want to highlight your cheeks, you can. But if you want the vintage look, you certainly don't highlight these bits. I think that's a bit weird. I'm just like, why does everyone want to look sweaty at the moment? I've got no idea. I use powder for contour. You can use a darker shade of foundation. If you do that, you will need to do that. You'll need to sort that out before you put any kind of setting powder on, because it'll cake. Okay, so way we're doing this is just, can you hear me? Hello? So if I just draw the line here, we'll add just a little bit more to show you. So we're basically drawing a line down from pretty much the top of our ear down to the corner of our mouth. So if you have a look at that line there, and then you blend for your life. Oh God, look how much my face wobbles. Oh Lordy. Now for blusher, I'm using an eyeshadow that I really like, and I'm using a peachy colour. So again, it's very subtle. Let me see if I can take you into the natural light. Ah, that's a bit better. Yeah, so as you can see, you can just about see the contour. and you can see the blusher, but it's just a highlight. It's not, there's nothing too crazy going on. So what we need to do now is go over the eyeliner again. If you're doing a sort of vintage 50s look, you wouldn't tend to put eyeliner underneath. All the drama tends to be on the top. I do normally add just a little bit of mascara and maybe a bit of white pencil on my waterline, purely because like my eyelashes are basically see-through, but you don't do the full smoky eyeliner. And if you're doing a true 40s look, you wouldn't wear eyeliner at all on your eyes. You would put it on your legs to create a seamed stocking look, because stockings were in very short supply. These seem to terrify all men. I don't know why. They seem to think they hurt. Just, you know, I'm hoping you all know how to do this. And eye mascara. So I always put 2 coats on. It's always worth having one of these around. This is just from an old mascara, but if you get stuck and it starts going clumpy, this will be your best friend. What I'm going to do is fill out my lips. This is a very old-fashioned style, and then I've got a Pillar Box Red lipstick that I will use a brush with. If you have a look here, you'll see that that is my lip line. I've not gone over. That's my conch. It's massive, isn't it? But that is a basic Hollywood glam look. Okay, so makeup's done. So we take these out. These are completely cold now. And as you can see, I'm a little curly Sue. So for each layer, we're going to give them a quick back comb, just for that lovely volume that we want. If you can hear a belly rumbling, don't worry, that's mine. Okay, so this is the way that my hair naturally goes. Okay, so do you see, I mean, it takes a bit of training, but do you see the difference in the volume? So that is where it normally sits, just here. If I flip it over to the other side, I get a lot more volume. So I think that is what I'm going to do. I am just going to get my brush and start brushing for my life. So that's the kind of look I'm looking for, but sort of all around. Once you've got this base, you can play around with it. So for a classic Hollywood look, what I would do is take one of the pins from earlier. I would pin this. Now, again, if you don't have this level of volume in your hair naturally, you can just tease it or put texture powder in. And for the front of the hair, you can pin curl it. So basically, all that's doing is setting this lovely wave here by pinning it to the hair underneath, and then classic Elmet. This is where we start spraying for our lives. This side gets completely swept back and pinned. Now you can do this with standard Kirby grips, which is what I'm going to do. You can do it with flowers, you can do it with combs. Combs are a good classic look. But for now, I'm just going to pin this here. This is something I use for my hair all the time, and it's quite simple. You'll see I've got lots of little flyaways. So all I do is spray the toothbrush. This is also good for getting rid of all the little baby hairs, because it's just a very, very gentle way of brushing hairspray into your hair. Let's get rid of these, and hopefully the wave will stay. Hey, there we go, lovely. I'll give that one another little spray because that's not going to stay there for very long, I don't think. So that is a classic Hollywood glam look. If you've got any questions, please let me know. If there's anything you would like a tutorial on next, please let me know. That's it. Right. I'm looking fabulous and I'm off to Tesco.